Welcome to mylifestyleshow.tv. It's awesome to have you here today. I've got a most fantastic speaker for you, all the way from over, now I'll say down from LA. I should have asked exactly where you were. But today, I just want to remind you, if you haven't been on the show before, this show is all about inspiring and motivating women entrepreneurs to kind of make a change and fast track their success to creating a true lifestyle business. And through live interactive shows, I try and encourage you to learn from other successful women entrepreneurs who have already created highly successful businesses. Learn from them, listen to them, and ideally ask questions from them. You have an hour now with an expert, so I encourage you as much as possible, ask us questions and we'll get them answered for you live as we go along. So today I'm very excited. I've been waiting for this all week to have the awesome Kelly Fidel on today. Now, Kelly is known as the premier sales strategist. She's a business strategist and known as the deal maker, which I just love coming from a sales background. She's also the CEO of No Glass Ceiling, which is an awesome program and an event that's coming up as well. And I know I want you to share about that later. Today, we're going to talk about how women shatter their own glass ceiling to build a 7-figure empire. We're going to go around 3 different key areas today and talk about knowing why your ideal clients buy from you fast and not your competition, which I thought was a good point. We don't want them buying from them. And the valuation equation. You must learn to command higher prices. And the #1 fatal mistake when going to close any deal and much more. Now, Kelly's got an awesome background. She's going to share a bit about her story, so I won't go into detail. But basically, she's come from corporate America, smashed it there, had kids, now smashing it as a deal maker. How's that? I'm going to let you share your story, Kelly, because it's much more interesting coming direct from you. So welcome to the show. It's awesome to have you here today.
Thanks, Kylie. It's great to be here. And hello, everybody. It's really awesome to see you all out there.
So if you just want to share a bit about your background, kind of where you came from and how you come about to where you're at now, that'd be awesome, Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, it's always easy to look at someone that is successful and say, wow, you know, they've had great success and how am I going to get there? And so I want to just take really a second to share a bit of my journey, right? Because I think it's important to know that today it looks fabulous. But it wasn't always like that. In fact, for a lot of you, you may be thinking, my gosh, you know, I'm struggling, or, you know, I have a job. How do I break out and have my own business? Or I have a business, I can't get it up over 20 miles an hour, or it takes money to make money. And so how do you do all of that? So I'll share with you that I really have been in sales since I was 9 years old. I was raised by a single mom. We did not have a lot of money. And I wanted a pair of shoes. A girl has to have her shoes, right? And I wanted a pair of tennis shoes. And we couldn't afford it. And so my mom had this brilliant idea. She said, go out, pick avocados at your aunt's house, and go out, put them in a wagon, and go out and sell them. And I said, my God, that's a brilliant idea. So I did just that. And I went door to door selling avocados. And quite candidly, as a kid, I didn't really like say these words, but I had this feeling. I'm like, this sucks, going one at a time to one at a time. I just wanted to find all of my ideal clients in a big bunch and sell all the avocados and just get my shoes. I mean, I'm 9, right? And I stumbled on a cul-de-sac where all of my ideal clients were. I sold all the avocados, 25 cents each, 5 for $1, you know, always on the hustle. And I got my shoes. So really, you know, you fast forward today, and it's one of the reasons I love centers of influence. We won't have probably time to talk about that too much today, but I really do love leveraging where your ideal clients hang out. Had the blessing to, you know, go. I spent, you know, a couple of years in college, but I will be very candid. I ejected in my 3rd year. I got very bored, and I went into corporate, and I climbed my way through the corporate ladder. And you know, it wasn't always easy, but I want to share something really quick, Kylie. So here's what's funny, right? I saw people struggle in corporate. I mean, I was probably the one woman that was, let's say, least likely to succeed without, you know, an MBA or a degree. And I could never understand why people were struggling with selling and sales and closing, or owning their value and getting paid for what they're worth. I mean, candidly, the odds were against me, right? And that's kind of where No Glass Ceiling was born. But I did have the blessing to work with some amazing, corporations, Fortune 100s, as I'm sure the world would know, and sit and compete in those boardrooms with some of the most powerful men in the world and win. And so that's where originally, 25 plus years ago, the term the deal maker was coined out of corporate. And then it kind of went away, and then it came back all by itself about 2-3 years ago. So that's a little bit about my background and my career, and I love sales strategy.
That's awesome. I hated corporate.
I love it. I actually have corporate clients today, big corporate clients. They speak at my events. But I had a good ride. I
was never diplomatic enough in corporate. I didn't play politics very well.
I didn't either, actually. I've never shared this on a Hangout, but I will. I remember I was in my 30s, and all the CEOs and the senior executives were out on this big yacht doing some, foo-foo entertaining something for clients. And I had a CEO pinch my butt, grab me in that, and I was not diplomatic. I spun around. I did a little smack across the top and said, "That is the last time you'll do that." And of course, the president of the company I reported to was standing actually right next to me. And it was like a flash where I didn't know if I was going to lose my job or not for slapping this guy, which it was a reaction. I'm not saying you should ever hit anybody. But when a stranger grabs your booty, unless you're in Italy, it's not okay, ladies. And it was a natural reaction. It just happened. And but the man apologized, and the CEO said, "Congratulations," and it was done. But listen, I'm not perfect. It was a natural reaction.
But yeah, I must admit that would be mine too. Especially when you're not expecting it. It's like you said, maybe if you were in a bar kind of flirting with someone, you might expect it, but not at a corporate work event. I just wouldn't. I probably would have done around the same, yeah, or at least given him a mouthful. That's for sure. Yeah. So when you transition across, so I know you've obviously now built. I know you built and sold 2 7-figure businesses, so that would have certainly given you a bit of a challenge after having your boys. So can you tell us about kind of how you got started there and what took you to wanting to do that?
Yes. So I left corporate, and I wanted to just have my babies. My vision actually was for No Glass Ceiling, and because I saw in corporate that so many women and cool men, they struggled. And so my vision was to help 1 million women make one change to cause a ripple effect around the world. I really, wanted to see that happen. But Kylie, remember, 20 years ago, people didn't think like that, or you would be like in a straitjacket, especially a woman. So my mom and my sister were really the only ones that knew that this was really my passion and what I wanted to do. And I was in corporate, and my mom got ill with cancer. And she said to me, "You've got to do No Glass Ceiling. You just really have to do it. It's your calling." And a year later, she died in my arms. I was 8 months pregnant with my first son. Oh. So I put it on hold. I put it on hold for more than 15 years. And, it was near and dear to me. But really what happened was then I had my first son, who's now 20, and 6'5", my first baby.
Wow.
And, I know, right? And then my 16-year-old, who's 6'3". We're a football family. I'm a football mom.
Are you really tall? I was going to say, are you tall? Are your partner's tall?
Yes, I'm 5'11". My husband's 6'4". So we're pretty we're tall. We're a tall family. And,
but it shouldn't it be basketball being that high? Isn't it basketball better?
Well, perhaps, but also, but it was wild because I had my, I took time off out of corporate. I wanted to spend time with my children, and I got bored. Kylie, I actually felt guilty because I would go out with the other moms out here, what they call in America, the stroller brigade, where you put your babies in a stroller, all the moms walk around. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to stab myself in the eye with a dull pencil. Like, I love being a mom, but like, I can't do it. And I honor the women that can, because I think it's amazing. But I just, I narrowed the moms that I hung out with, and I still got bored. So I went out and built a 7-figure business in an industry that I had no experience in, employee benefits of all things. And I landed big clients, Warner Brothers and Mercedes-Benz, and some really big clients that I just cold called. And I candidly, I just did it for the heck of it. And so sold that business. And then I did it again. And I sold that business. And then I just really kind of hunkered down and started work with entrepreneurs, quietly helping them build 6- and 7-figure businesses, working with corporates, and then, grew no glass ceiling to a 7-figure enterprise. So sorry about the phone. It never rings.
So someone's listening. They're wanting to ask a question live. That's what they're doing. They're ringing you live. You're right. Awesome.
Oh. Okay, we're back.
It's okay. It's always a way. So obviously that was a big challenge for you, and obviously I respect the kind of, I haven't been a mum yet, so, or I don't know whether I ever will be yet, but I have 2 good friends of mine exactly in the same situation at the moment, and they are sitting at home going, just get me back to work. They can't function at home. It's really fascinating, and they love the beautiful daughters, absolutely love it, but the drive and the kind of keeping busy, they just can't keep their mind working at home. It drives them absolutely crazy. So,
well, I've never worked more than 20 hours a week, to tell you the truth, when I did all of these businesses. And even today, I love working with entrepreneurs, but I'm very specific, right? So a couple of tips as we kind of go along, if they pop into my head, I hope you don't mind, I'll just share. So one of the things that I do is I really set boundaries, right? And you can do that without being mean or, not flexible. So I really begin working at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I get up. Sometimes I take my dog for the walk. Sometimes I go sit on my patio and have a cup of coffee and watch the birds. I mean, whatever it is, I'm a slow waker upper. So it takes me a little bit. I get my kids off to school, even though they're old enough, I like to see them. And then I kind of start my day, right? I work Monday through Thursday, and my cutoff time is 4 o'clock. And I always take time, like in the middle of the day, to have lunch, half hour or something like that. I just take a little bit of time. I don't work Fridays, and I don't work the weekends. And so whether they're entrepreneurs or corporate clients, I just let them know, listen, I am here for you 100% of the time when we are working together. I don't work Fridays. I don't work the weekends. I'm a football mom, and that time is really important for me and my family. And Kylie, what's crazy is that everyone's like, wow, I wish I could do that. Even my big corporate clients, and entrepreneurs. I don't just do corporate, by the way. I do it because it's fun. But I think it's important that when you're working with your clients, that you let them know. And I try to, I've really helped a lot of my clients set boundaries, because they come to me and they're working, like a 24/7 workhorse. They're working at night. They're trying to juggle kids and family and friends and this and that. It's like, no, let's make your life like amazing with ease. So yeah.
Sounds perfect. I'm in. No, but it's true though. Funnily enough, I was actually just talking to my designer, bless him, and I hope he listens to this later, because we were having the same conversation about him managing expectations of clients, because obviously with design work, sometimes he's on demand all the time. And I said to him, you just got to manage it up front. Manage that expectation, set when you're available, set it out. I said, but you've got to manage that client, because if you continue to do late nights and, answer people at 10, 11 o'clock, or like you said, on a Sunday, you're going to get that happening because you've set the example to start with. So It's really interesting you bring that up now. So I've literally just had this conversation with him about an hour ago. But it's a hard thing to do, isn't it? It's like you said, it's getting into the routine, knowing what you want to work. It definitely.
Yeah. Well, what I always say is, it's hard to work all the time. And it may, in the beginning, be hard to set boundaries. Choose your hard, right?
Yeah. I'm not working that much. It's true. But again, and it comes down to effective working. And, you know, that's what I'm really passionate about is, you know, a lot of the conversations I have with women entrepreneurs and on the show with people that come on is all about finding ways that you should work less, earn more. There's no reason you can't, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, exactly. Some of it comes from if you've worked in a company or for somebody else, you have this, like, you know, you punch in at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're done at 5, and we get conditioned to work these really long hours because that's our value, right? And then we come out on our own as entrepreneurs and we think, you know, we're more efficient, we're calling our own shots, and now we have to put in the time. And that's actually not the case, right? We can actually work more efficiently and work half the time. So it's a habit.
Don't tell your boss that. Don't tell your boss that if you're still in a job because you double your workload. Right. Oh, by the way, I can do my 10-hour day in 2 hours. Shush. But you do. But yeah, it's really interesting you say that. Yeah, my transition across from working from corporate, I was the opposite. I really struggled to work because I was so used to such a structured environment. Being at home working, I was so undisciplined. It was crazy. So yeah, I've finally now got myself into routine and pattern, but it is a big changeover coming from corporate world where you're used to that, and especially a sales environment. You know, it's very demanding, go, go, go. And then to get at home working, you're like, oh, I've got an hour. I'll, you know, have a coffee and have a chat. It's like suddenly I've made no sales calls, whereas I would have done 60 by now at work. You know, it's very interesting. So getting started, like we're talking about that, with dealing with obviously high-end clients and that. So how did you move across? You obviously have done a lot of cold calling. You know, I mean, that just rakes fear in so many people. You know, and then going to dealing with high-end clients. What's the shift that you have to make, I guess, within yourself, I guess, to deal with that sort of clientele? Because I think fear, I know, comes in a lot with this sort of thing, and value.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So there's kind of three things there, right? It's like fear, value, and high-paying clients. So the first piece is I've always been in the high-ticket industry. I've never sold low-ticket for 30 years, ever. It's just that I did it when it wasn't cool and I didn't know any better. So I've closed multi-million, billion-dollar deals. And it's just, that's like what we did. So it wasn't high ticket, low ticket, like some industries or marketing industries talk about. You know, strategy sessions have been around for 40 years. Sorry to burst anybody's bubble. It's just that they've come into certain industries and now it's like, oh, this is how you close high ticket. Well, that just seems very clunky to me, some of the processes, right? So there's a couple of things. I'm going to set cold calling aside and talk just for one moment about big ticket clients, high paying clients, affluent clients, okay? And then we'll talk about the fear and then the cold calling, if that's okay. So just briefly. So, you know, one of the things, Chanel did a study, you know, Chanel, the designer, clothing, handbags, all that cool stuff. And they discovered that for every affluent, high paying woman or cool man that purchases Chanel, they have a lot of money, they go out, they shop at Chanel, like maybe the rest of us might shop someplace else. For every one Chanel buyer, there are 300 women that will save their money to put it all together and buy one high ticket item from Chanel. So, you know, I have found that people always ask me, where are the high ticket clients? Where do they gather? Well, there's obvious places. You know, you can certainly go to car shows and yacht places and country clubs and But really, I mean, you don't have to land $1 million, billion-dollar deal. Truly, that's like, you know, let's just talk about owning your value. And if you're charging $500 or $1,000 for what you do, and can you double or triple your pricing, right? So let's just like bring it to normal, what I like to say. And so, you know, the buyers are out there. One of the things I'll say, one of the behaviors is that people are waiting for you right now. They're actually waiting for you to step up and become who you need to be, which is really shatter your own glass ceiling and not be afraid and step up and lead. Because there's not a lot of true women or even men leaders. Yes, there are, the Tony Robbins or the Jack Canfields or, some of the other, really great and amazing women and men. But in our own markets, when we start to step into our own value, our own greatness, because every one of you is brilliant, then people are like, now I can be there because this person will lead me, okay? So the fear doesn't come from making the sale. The fear, Kylie, actually comes from stepping into our own greatness.
Totally. Yeah, it is so true. And I hear women talk about that all the time. It isn't, they're not ready to kind of step forward and be a leader, are they? So if you're feeling that, then come on, share now. I want to know, how do you get started then, breaking that fear factor?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Audience. Oh, cool. Yes, I'm on, right?
I haven't got anyone else with me.
Everybody in the internet, come on over.
If you're watch, this is going to be important, but ask questions as well. If you've got any questions about your own sort of what you're going through at the moment, ask Kelly while she's on here. How can we break through what you're going through at the moment? So if you've got a personal experience, I'd love to hear it as well from the comments in the box below.
Yes. So, the big question is to ask yourself, what would I do if I was not afraid? In other words, you almost have to fast forward 20 years from now, or 30, or depending on your age, right?
Yeah, I was going to say. Some of us get a bit older, yeah.
Right, as you get older. And so you imagine yourself in, your 60s, your 70s, and you look back and you have to say, because in that moment, you're no longer afraid. So what, you're afraid of different things. Like, what's life going to look like then? Or, fill in the blank. And so you have to say, what do I wish I would have done? Or why am I afraid now? And typically it's, what are people going to think of me? Or, do I really have the value to bring to the table? And so in value, in understanding value, right? And there's so many conversations out there about own your value, own your value. Well, what does that really mean? And so it's really simple. I am very big on cutting through the nonsense and just kind of getting to the bottom line, right? And so the value actually has nothing to do with you as a person, okay? When your clients are looking, and I'm gonna flip-flop everybody's world. So cut the drama. It's not about you, right? It's really about the client. And so your potential client is saying, if I invest $1,000 with you, $3,000 with you, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, whatever the number is, if I invest $3,000 with you, will I make $3,000 back? That's what they're asking themselves here. Or if I invest $3,000 with you, will I make $6,000 back? Or if I invest $3,000 with you, will I make $10,000 back? That's the value equation. That's the first piece, right? The second piece is, and this is where people get confused and they just really need to get clear. Can you articulate, be very specific in understanding the client problem? Because people pay to shorten the learning curve. People pay to cheat time, right? Because time is the one thing, like we want to go faster, further, but we want to do it the right way with the foundation, all that good stuff. I mean, you've heard success loves speed. Well, or money loves speed. Well, the problem with that is money only makes things go faster. So if you have a business that's messed up, you're going to have a big, fast, messed up business. Or if you have, a bunch of low ticket pricing and you sell a lot of it, you're going to have a bunch of low ticket stuff. And so you have to say, what is the problem that my client has? Okay. And can I help them solve it faster? Because high-end affluent clients, people that want to invest at a higher rate, they're paying for that, that competitive edge. They're paying for you to help them get someplace quicker. So the value is, well, it's important to own your value, and that's a lifetime learning, and we work on ourselves to be better and greater than, right? It really is about saying, if I deliver this, whatever it is, can I help you land high-paying clients faster? Yes, absolutely. Or land them at all. Can we triple your pricing? Yes, absolutely. And for the right reasons. Like, you just don't go out and go, I think I'll quadruple my pricing today, slap a sticker on there, and that's the new price. No, it has to be crafted the right way. And so understanding that the value for that person that you're helping them, to increase their rate of success faster and bigger, that's where the value comes in.
And for me, I guess that would probably be where the fear come in, because again, it comes back to their value, doesn't it? It's like, can I get that result for the client? So
go ahead.
How would you do that if you're just getting started? So obviously, you've obviously walked your talk and done it for a long time now. So I'm sure it just flows naturally for you. If you're just getting started, maybe like you did with your 7-figure, where it was completely different business, or maybe you're new to a particular type of industry and you don't have huge success results behind you to say, look, I've done it 20 times over, thousands of times over for lots of people, so I know I'm going to get you those results. So how do you get started with that mentality of, getting people those results and being able to up your value as you go along?
Got it. Great question. So you're right. Like for me, people usually come to me and they have a program that's $1,000 or $2,000, and they want to enter into higher, paying clients. They want to, not be stressed out and figure out, the messaging and how to own that client base and have a life. I mean, really, it's like, how do I make big money and have a life without giant teams? And, I've done it all, right? So for me at this point in my career, I still engage because I believe it's important to be relevant and current and know what's happening in the market. But I do love taking my clients from where they are, which is probably where a lot of your viewers are right now, and saying, how do we increase that pricing, clarify that message, find that ideal client that you really want to play with, right? And change the landscape of your life so that it is the ultimate really great life that you're looking for. And that's where I've done that over and over and over as well, right? So to give the listeners some things that you guys can take with you right now, I think there's a couple of things that you can do. The first piece is, if you are just starting out, you don't have any clients, and you're like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, what do I do? You can do what's called like a beta test, a pilot group, a focus group, whatever you want to call it. They're all fancy names. They mean the same thing, and here's what they mean. Grab 3 to 5 people that you like, that you want to help. Have them invest, all right? You are not a nonprofit, even if they're your best friends, your posse, your peeps, and you tell them, I'm gonna launch this new program, will you help me out for free? No, have them invest. They have to invest somehow, so they've got some skin in the game. I don't care if it's $100, $300, $500, $1,000, something, okay? And take that program. If normally it's a 12-week program with a much smaller group, you can probably carve it out, make that program move a little faster with a smaller group. Okay, so 8-week program or 4-week program, and go through that content, go through your magic, go through exactly what you would do for others, and get them to make sure that they commit, right? If they, quote, sign up, say they're going to help you, and they dip out, then they're out. You have to stay in integrity and keep it legit. This is a business, right? You're not a nonprofit organization. And so, or if you are, still, like, there's gates and profit and loss that you have to answer to. But it's kind of a joke. Like, we're not a nonprofit. Like, it's okay to make money. Women, money, they do go together. It's okay to make money. So, you know, vet the program. I do it often. I will have 20 people. If I'm launching something new, I know it's going to work, but I just really want to pressure test it with people that'll give me honest feedback. And so, you know, do that and get testimonials, okay? And log the results that they're going to get. Then if you need to, then you can tweak the program if you need to, or you just launch it. And so I invest $500 and I made $5,000 the first month. Well, you know, clearly it works, and I would raise your pricing if I were you, because people would pay a couple $1,000s for that.
Awesome. That's really powerful, because I do get a lot of people ask me that, because, you know, whether it's because they don't have enough testimonials, or like you said, they want to test out a new program. And it's that confidence level of knowing that they're going to get their clients' results. I think they know the stuff, but it's, can you get those results? So that's a really great way to get them started.
Yeah. I will share with you that I'm actually doing a beta right now with my mastermind. So I've taken actually a separate small group, and the program internally is called 100K in 100 days. Because I want to see if did you see it? So I want to see if we can take, you know, 5-figure or low, like barely a 6-figure earner, and compress the time frame. And I want to take them to, you know, $500,000 a year. So can we do 100K in 100 days? And right now, here's the crazy part. When you press people to perform in their expertise and they want it, they will deliver for themselves, right? And I'm not charging for this, but, and these are some existing clients, but I'm kind of expanding my own service delivery to help them get these results. And here's the crazy part, Kylie. Not only have certain people raised their hands and said, I want in, right? And they're hitting those numbers. We've got another month. We're going to share the results at No Glass Ceiling. But I actually have people, this is blowing my mind. We actually have a couple of people doing 100 grand in a week.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. I bet they're blown away, because I bet they weren't expecting those sort of results either.
No, but their confidence goes up. And so when I say, oh my God, it's not the dollar amount necessarily, right? Of course, it's fantastic when I see my clients hit those kind of numbers. Now, these are people that are doing $1,000 and $2,000 programs, right?
Yep.
The oh my God for me comes from what we talked about earlier. The fear that goes away, the confidence that rises, the ability to step into the brilliance. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that would be the big thing for me, because once you've done it, it's like when I first started making some income online. It's like when you get that first bit of income, even if it's small, you're like, oh, I can do that, and then I can do it again, and you can do it again, and it is that sort of, it gives you the belief, doesn't it? Because most people don't have the belief in themselves before they go to do what they need to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And so you mentioned about obviously getting your ideal client. So how do you get them to buy fast from you and not your competition then?
So I never go into any conversation with an entrepreneur or a corporation with the intent to sell, ever. I go in with the intent to have a conversation, and they need to make a decision. They can choose whether they're going to stay where they're at or they're going to solve their problem, period. And so it frees me up, and it frees the other person up, regardless of, you know, what their quote title is. Because at the end of the day, of course we like to close, right? It's important to, and I like to close business fast. So again, it goes back to setting the expectation. I let people know, listen, you know, what I'd love to do is sit down and ask you a couple questions, find out, you know, a little bit about what some challenges are in your business, where you're at and where you want to go. And, you know, if I can help you, then, you know, we'll talk about it and see if it's a fit. And if not, then we can, choose to, part ways and be friends. Is that fair? And so they're like, yes, absolutely. So I have this conversation, which I'll ask them, where are you at and where do you want to go? Again, company, entrepreneur, it doesn't really matter, right? Because what I'm really trying to do is expose that gap. And a lot of people talk about the gap. I mean, I do a program called Closing the E-Gap, the entrepreneurial gap, but it's more than that. It's really about listening, and they go, well, I want to go here to here. And it's like, I want to go from 1,000 to 10,000 a month, or I want to go from 10,000 to 50,000 a month. That's not really the gap. That's superficial stuff. The real gap is, what does that get you? If you can go from where you are and quadruple your income that comes in, what does that really mean? What is missing in your life? Because everything that happens, whether entrepreneur, whether corporation, I don't care, it doesn't matter. It is something personal. Yes, even for the employee or the person that's driving an organization. They've got a lot of heat. They're going to lose their job. They don't get to spend time with their kids or family or happy hour with their, people they work with, or, they don't get to go to the gym, or they're stressed out. Entrepreneurs basically like all of the same stuff, and they want more money and they're trying to build a business. They want to do it faster. So, if you're ever talking to somebody and they stay really superficial, it's just because they're not used to having that drilled down conversation, a real conversation of what it takes to build a real business. And so I like to go there. Okay. I really like to listen and find out, what is their pain point. Yeah, everybody wants more money perhaps, but what does that mean? For me, it funds my legacy. For someone else, it pays their rent. It puts food on the table. The 9-year-old gets to go, the mom gets to buy a pair of shoes for the 9-year-old daughter. The daughter doesn't have to go out and pick avocados and, sell them door to door. So everybody has their pain point. And so what is that pain point? And so all I'm doing is looking for people to choose, okay? Choose to take action. I can certainly help and get people there, whatever that is, and at the level, meet them at the level that they want to play. But where do they really want to play and why? So I look for one thing, and that's desire. And then everything else is a choice. And then I close. And so I'll jump in so even with a corporation, I will say, I would love to help you solve fill in the blank, X problem. What are our next steps for us to move forward to a yes? I close. And, sometimes they'll say, well, I'm not sure, or, well, we need to do this. Or, oh, are you, wow, you're going to close me? I'm going to say, yes, this is we're not going to wait for the Last Supper here. We're, let's move forward to a yes. And I ask the question, and quite candidly, time is time, right? And they're either in or they're out in the nicest namaste, love, make a decision. Are you in or are you out?
But, and you have to do that in business. I used to run a real estate office, and it was the same. It was like you'd have some of the best salespeople out on the force, and they'd be great with the people. They'd ask all the right questions, but they'd never ask the business at the end. And you're like, you have to. Sometimes it's like you said, because it shouldn't be, it's not selling, it's not sleazy, it's not, it's a part of the conversation. It's like, okay, we've got this far, we can solve this. This is where you're at, and what's it going to take to get you moving forward? So that's a really nice, easy way, because it should flow into that, shouldn't it, with the conversation you're having?
Yes,
and two things that really stand out for me with you is, I think the key thing for that is, one is having clarity, knowing what you can solve. I think that's the thing, is having the confidence and clarity of what problems can you solve for yourself and for your clients. So knowing that first, I think, is the main one. And then obviously listening to know what their actual real problem is the key, isn't it? And if you match, perfect. If you don't, then, yeah, like you said, you may not be the right person to help them anyway. But it's knowing that.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs, especially, they try to, they want to serve everybody. And they want to sell without being salesy, or this is going to cause a rub with some of you, so I'm just going to kind of forewarn and with love, I'm going to say the things that a lot of people don't say, okay? And you can curse me all the way to the bank. But, you know, heart-centered entrepreneur, sell without being salesy. I don't want to be high pressure. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to, what do you call it? Like, I don't know, high pressure. So all of that aside, I don't believe in squeezing somebody to a yes, right? I don't believe in high pressure sales, if you will, right? That's like the old days. That's old school selling. What I do believe is that I actually own the domain name Don't Get Labeled. So I have a real problem, unless your title is like mom or, you know, caregiver or something like that. I have a real problem with women labeling themselves. I don't like it. I feel like it's a habit, and that culturally they're supposed to be the fill in the blank, right? And I ask so many entrepreneurs, Kylie, if you had to describe a title of yourself, what is it? And they always say, I'm a heart-based this, or I'm a sales that, or I'm a, you know, without being salesy. And it's like, no, no, no. You're the wife or the girlfriend or the mother or the, you know, the significant other or the this or, you know, it's like, if you're going to title yourself and label carefully, right? But just get away from a lot of those things. Really what your only goal is to help people decide what they want to do with their life. Do they want to move forward with you and you can help them solve the problem, or stay where they're at? And there's no pressure in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know, and it's like you said, I love the concept of, you know, a lot of people make the mistake of, I've got to please everyone, I've got to work with everyone. And actually you don't, you know, you are going to end up, I think if you're really passionate and very strong about what you do, there are going to be people that don't want to work with you. And that's okay. That's fine. Because not everyone, people buy from people as well. Ultimately, when the crunch comes, they're going to buy from you because they want to work with you. And you're not going to please everyone. Like I work with another girl, Kat Laterza, who's an Aussie chick, and she's hysterical. Like she is full on. And, you know, you will either love her or hate her. There's no two way. There's no in between with her posts and things like that. And she does it deliberately. She's like, either people want to work with me who I am, and I know I can help them do what I do, or they don't, and that's cool. And I think that's the thing, and that's where the pressure should come off. It's like, it's that, yeah, they either will or they won't, and that's okay either way. I know you mentioned I do a lot of it's okay to get no's. You know, that's fine, because a no always gets you closer to a yes, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with a no either.
You want a lot of no's, right? I mean, I've even been known to say to corporate, or to an entrepreneur, they're like, well, you know, I'm not really sure what I should do. And, you know, what do you think? It doesn't happen often. But, you know, people ask. And I'll say, well, you know, the best thing that you could do is make a decision. A fast yes or a fast no. But a forever maybe is the death of any, you know, business or individual, right? It's just, painful.
Yeah, it's not. Because most of the time they'll never go, if they're sort of sitting like that, they'll never, I don't think, especially with working with entrepreneurs, I guess it depends on your market base, but I think with entrepreneurs, you know, they're either in or they're out. Like whenever I've made a decision to either work with someone or buy a program, it's pretty instant. You know what you want to do. And you know whether it's going to impact your business there and then. And I know you mentioned the fatal mistake when going to close any deal.
Yeah.
We haven't covered that, have we? No.
Yeah, we can cover that really quick. So, you know, there's a couple of things, right? I would say, especially working with higher end affluent clients, like people always think they're supposed to look or feel or be seen a certain way. I mean, it could be us or anybody that is willing. It goes back to the Chanel survey, right? It could be anyone that's out there that truly sees who you are and how you're doing business, right? And I love what you said about Kat, you know, drawing a line in the sand, breaking your own glass ceiling. You want to repel people so that you can attract the right people, which means, yes, give me a fast no, you know, and then you can move forward with ease. But going back to closing, what happens with selling, right, is two things. One, women especially, and some cool men, but women are notoriously known for not wanting to ask for the sale. So I call it the ask. So you have to go in for the ask. You must ask if they would like to move forward with you. It's so important. Now, to go back a little bit further, I'm not a huge fan of sales cycles, a lot of formulas and stuff that are out there. Let me cut to the chase. Are you guys ready? Get your pen out. Here is the ultimate sales formula. Talk to your ideal client. Ask them if they'd like to move forward to a yes. Boom. I mean,
it's too complicated. Can you go back over that?
I know, right? You put that in writing and send it to me in a PDF, font size 14, right? It's just like,
yeah.
Good Lord. I mean, seriously, I am not kidding. Now, old days, yes, it's like identify the ideal target client and do. So going in for the fast close, I see so many people. And let's say that you and I, Kylie, we're talking and I'm, you're my ideal client and I want to go in for the ask. We meet, we sit down, we start to talk. The biggest mistake on closing is that I start from point one, like the very, very beginning of what would be a traditional sales cycle, and I waste your time and I go all the way back around through the whole selling process, which equates right up there to watching somebody's home movies or their entire family photo albums. It's like, hello, dull pencil, can I just, it's like, nobody has time for that. So the potential ideal client is looking, so you may be looking, right, and going, oh my gosh, if this is how it is when I am just thinking about doing business with somebody, what's it going to be like when we actually start doing business together, right? So when you're with a buyer, I call almost everybody a buyer, right, or a potential client, they're already 70%, write it down, 70% through the buying process. They have already either been aware or know that there's an issue, challenge, a problem. So they're out there looking in the internet. Okay, people are not dumb. They do have resources today. So they're out there Googling or Yahooing or Binging or wherever they like to go for their search content. And they're looking for a solution to the problem. So by the time you get to them, they're already 70% through that process. They're looking for the bottom line. They're looking for the solution. Okay? And so that's why when, I know it sounds really simple, but when you talk to somebody and find out what is their issue, problem, challenge, and then you can provide a solution, it actually accelerates the close much faster. Okay? Then they're like, wow, I love this person. Like, oh my gosh, I want to do business with Kylie. I love her. She understands my problem. She gets to the point. She has a solution. I get results. I get revenue. Let's roll. And that's what people want today. Instant oatmeal.
How do you do that then? Obviously, that's if you've already gone through, I guess, a bit of a pre-screening process, I guess, is that people are either approaching you or coming to you because they've already kind of seen you. What if you just met someone, say, at I had this not long ago with a girl I was talking to at an event, and she said the thing that she struggled with was turning casual conversations like at events or networking, knowing that they're your ideal client, knowing you can solve their problem, into then turning that into business. Is there a way, what's the most strategic way of doing that?
Yeah, so if I hear you right, what you're saying is, someone says, that's their challenge, right? Turning the ideal client into their ideal prospect at a networking event into a client.
Yeah.
And so you typically at an event like that, you almost want to do the reverse, right? You don't want to sell or close right then. And so you can still ask the questions. What's the biggest challenge in your business? Where are you looking to take your business? Why haven't you gotten there yet? And if they're like, well, I'm not really sure, or I'm looking for the right person, or this or that, you can say, I'd love to help you with this, or I'd love to talk with you more about it, but I don't want to disturb for either one of us our ability to network here. What I'd like to do is set up a follow-up time where we can talk. This is me. I don't use Time Trade or Calendly or all of those tools. Like, my life is super simple. Do you have a card? Cool. I'll give you a call Tuesday or Wednesday. Cool. Awesome. And that's how I do it. Literally.
And then you just follow up. You actually do the follow up.
I do the follow up. Go figure. Like, there are people that I have actually thought, wow, I'd love to, potentially have a conversation with this person. I think, maybe we could do something together. I don't really do JVs, but I'll be happy to, look at a business and say, wow, is there a potential for a strategic alliance or a revenue share, program or something? And the moment I get a link to book an appointment with somebody, I'm out. So if you have something epic and you want to connect with me, just connect with me on Facebook like Kylie did, PM me. I look at my own stuff. Yes, I have a team, a small team, and we run really efficient. And, it's like, there is not a lot of glory in having 10, 20, 30, 40 employees or outsourced people. Like, women feel like, oh, I have to have all this stuff to feel successful. No, thank you. I like 10% expenses. I like to keep 90% of the profit. I like to run really efficiently and just move forward. And my schedule changes, right? So let's just do it.
Yeah, I think to me, I don't know whether it's because I've been online for the last couple of years or whatever, but people do just forget that simple personal touch, isn't it? It's like someone asked me yesterday, oh my God, how are you getting these speakers? And I'm like, I approach them, I talk to them, and I ask them questions, and I interact with them. And it was just like, it was so simple. It was like, well, how else do you think I've got them? And it was, they just, I don't know, thought it was this big process. And it's like, no, I said, I do research. I find out about my market, who's doing what I want to interview, and I approach people, I network, I make connections. But
so
yeah, people overcomplicate it, don't they?
This is so important. If you all are listening at this point, first of all, thank you for staying on with us, and really listen to what Kylie just said, right? So, when people ask you, Kylie, well, so how do you do this or that? Let me share with everybody. I did not know Kylie. She sent me a Facebook PM, and she was very clear. And she asked, hi, I'm a friend of, Princess Fizz. I'm doing a show. I would like to interview you. If you would be open to this, please let me know. And I took a quick look at her profile. I dug the vibe, and I replied back. And what was my response? Yes.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah.
It was very fast, right? How long ago was that? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, not long. Yeah. and that's the thing, isn't it? It is knowing, yeah. But I think that, I don't know whether it's my sales background, I have no hesitations approaching people, but I think a lot of people have lost that basic, simple connecting effect. And yet it's still one of the most powerful elements you can have in your business. It's, hey, guys.
It's high tech, high touch, human touch. That's what I teach. High tech is great, but it has removed so much of the human element. And at the end of the day, I don't care who it is, people are about relationship. So you can do it online, build a list and all that good stuff, which is totally cool. Or you can pick up the phone or send a text PM.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, with building a list as well, people still forget they're not just a number on your list or a name on your list. They're an actual person behind that list. Is like, they are there, they signed up for a reason. So it's like, yeah, talk to them, find out why. Yeah, that does surprise me. People go, oh, I've got this big list. And it's like, that's great, but what do you do with it? How do you interact with them? How are you helping them?
Yes.
And it's just another number.
Bigger is not always better when it comes to the list, right? A small list that's highly responsive obviously is far better. I know a lot of people that have 100, 300, 500,000 people, 1 million people on their list, and it's a junk list. You know what I mean? Do what you guys like, right? I mean, if you take nothing else away, do your business the way you want, not what the industries tell you. I personally am terrible at email. I have someone that does content. I look at every piece of email. I change it. I don't like to email very often. I just don't. So if we connect and you don't hear from me for a couple weeks, it doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means like I'm just not going to bombard you on day 1, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, or Tuesdays and Thursdays between 11 and 1, because those are the highest converting email times. And I'm so sick of that, right? It's like, good Lord.
Yeah, no, it's all about being yourself, isn't it? It's that connection. And I know Kat talks a lot about that as well. She's very, very similar. It's just all about getting your message out there and helping people. Simple as that.
I love live events and I love virtual events. I mean, really, it's, there is something very powerful that happens in the energy of connecting with people.
Yeah, I mean, I put all my transformation over the last year down to going to events. Simple as that. It's that connection. And I think that's the big one to release belief levels. So like you said, if you're struggling with belief levels, go to an event and see other people that are doing it. You'll soon come out going, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. They're no different. It's one of the most powerful things, I think. And talking about that, do you want to share about your event? I'd love for you to share, because obviously we were talking about earlier.
Yes, absolutely. So we do an annual event. Last year, so No Glass Ceiling, I put it on hold for 15 plus years. And finally last year on my mom's birthday, I launched No Glass Ceiling. And we had our first event last year. We had 138 people in the room and $6 billion of net worth. Amazing group of people, regular entrepreneurs. I brought my NFL clients, celebrity clients, corporate clients, entrepreneur clients. And the whole purpose is to do deals. Super successful. And, that's what I love. So this year again, in October, we have No Glass Ceiling. You can go to noglassceiling.com and check it out. What I love is I do 6 weeks of virtual coaching that I would normally charge $20,000+ for, but I do it for free because I want people to go through weekly training and open Q&A so that they arrive at No Glass Ceiling at a completely different level, ready to do deals. I love that. And then the event is 3 days. And so you're welcome to join us. And if you're looking for, I don't know if this is the good time to do this, but if you want more information on high ticket selling, you can go to blueprinttohighpayingclients.com. And there's a multi-page blueprint. It's in detail, like in writing, so that you can kind of, get what we've been talking about today, but have it in a lot of detail for you in front of you.
Yes, also I failed miserably at announcing your big freebie at the beginning, which is what I normally do. So there will be a link below the video, guys. So don't panic if you didn't catch that link. There'll be a link below. So just click on it and you can go through it. I'll make sure that's up as soon as we finish today. So, that's awesome. You're giving away such amazing knowledge there. I know because I've already gone through it. I went through it yesterday. So absolutely powerful. I didn't realize I'd signed up for it. So I'm very excited to know that I got it first. So hopefully we've shattered kind of some of the fears and I guess the surrounds about dealing with high net worth individuals, high clients, and I just guess getting your message out there and just like you said, being you. I think that's the most powerful thing that's come out for me. Is you don't have to have this big formula behind you. You just need to know what you're good at, know what you can do, what your clients' problems are and how you can solve them, and have those conversations. I think that's the simplicity of what you've gone through today. I hope so anyway.
The powerful simplicity of building a multi-6 or 7-figure business.
Yeah, right? Very powerful.
Don't be afraid of yourself. Ask and own the value based on the results you get for the client.
Yeah, I think that's really valuable. I think that I know a lot of my audience will love that, is, being, I guess that it's that fear value around their value and how they upscale that. So like you said, how do you go from something you're selling at 1,000 to 2,000 suddenly to selling it at 3,000 to 5,000 or 5,000 to 10,000? And I think that, you've kind of gone there. That's the level I think that people want to start to move up to, don't they? And it is that, it's powerful, very powerful. So do you want to share, is there anything else you'd like to share about what you're up to at the moment? I know you obviously got your event. I presume you're probably just event focused at the moment.
Yeah, you know, I don't do a lot of events or even a lot of webinars and virtual events. What I can say is that in less than a year, we have not done any promotion. So in less than a year, we have several thousand members in the No Glass Ceiling community. So if you do jump over to noglassceiling.com, there's not a big opt-in there. You have to go to the very bottom right, and it's a super teeny tiny button. I mean, I'm like totally, I pattern interrupt. It's like, you have to find me, right? And you can get a free membership to No Glass Ceiling. So we currently have several thousand members. We're in over 50 countries in less than a year. Really looking forward to growing the membership. It's free, and love to, you know, just provide a lot of ways that people can grow their business. I personally have a lot of knowledge, Kylie, and the one thing I don't want to do is one day, you know, pass on and, you know, go to the football heaven in the sky and take all this knowledge with me. So I am more than happy. I don't care if it's a competitor, a non-competitor. I'm happy to share whatever knowledge. I truly believe in abundance and that there is more than we could ever tap out there. My goodness, there's only 14 million small and mid-sized companies just in the United States. So, you know,
Wow.
how much do you want? And women are a $19 trillion market. So how much of that do you want? There's plenty. There's plenty to go around.
Not fussy, just 1 trillion will do.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not fussy. It's like, if I can help you move the dial in your business, you know, then totally cool. You know,
Awesome.
Let's do it. Yeah, and then just pay it forward. Like when somebody comes to you, you know, and they want help, you know, help them. Yeah, ripple effect.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, isn't it? It's about showing, but then how do you go? That's interesting, because I say that, but then I always end up in lots of free conversations because I do a lot of strategy work. So because I do a lot of strategy work with people, so I work with people looking at their business and look at strategizing stuff. I very easily fall into that trap of giving them a 2-hour strategy session and then I've not been paid for.
Yeah.
So
So I definitely don't do that. I very rarely do a strategy session. You can go to kellyfidel.com, and I think under work with me, there's a little box and there is a strategy session form. I do rarely get them. Most of my business is referral, but people do on occasion contact me. My strategy sessions are less than 18 minutes. And they're really designed not to pick my brain, right? I don't want any of you to have people just do a strategy to pick your brain. It's really about, are we a fit and do we want to work together? But on creating content, like, you know, to help people to grow their business, it could be something like this. It can be a quick video. It can be a Facebook post. Follow, you know, connect with me on Facebook. I do a lot of content over there. And just, you know, I mean, email. I really like to, you know, speak at different events, and that's what it's about. You know, I don't believe that content has to be delivered one-on-one. It can be highly leveraged. And for any of you that are doing strategy sessions more than 18 minutes, like Kylie, stop, right? It is about helping people move forward to a decision. Because look, all you're doing is enabling someone to continue to play small and giving them permission to not step up and decide to invest in themselves and their business when you give them free coaching. There's my big nugget for the day.
Awesome. That's perfect for me. I have moved away, but yeah, it was one thing I was struggling with, and I was like, I keep having these conversations, and it's like, yeah, funny that. So yeah, now I'm starting to charge. So I've got my first VIP next week, and it's time to roll it from there. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, I've just had I was actually, sorry, I got slightly distracted because I just got a Facebook message, and I thought it might have been a question, but it wasn't a question, but it was like such an awesome and inspirational show. Kelly, thank you. You rock.
You rock.
She's just starting her business, so very excited, getting clearer every time I listen to your show. So that's really nice to hear. So every time she gets different nuggets. And so is there anything special? Like I always talk about obviously creating a lifestyle business. You've obviously created the most awesome one, working less and doing what you love. What's the most important thing that you love about your business at the moment? And is there anything sort of we might see from Kelly coming out in the next couple of years, or where do you see yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really great question. I've created a lifestyle business that I've tuned over time, right? I used to travel a lot. Now I don't. I stay in California. I'll go to Vegas. I'll go to Phoenix. I just, I've clocked millions of miles traveling through the years, which I loved. And now I'm just really happy, hanging out in my own neighborhood. So, having the lifestyle that I want, not that it has to be somebody else's lifestyle, right? So it's my life and I dig it. Over the next couple of years, gosh, let's see. Well, I'll tell you what lights me up and keeps me going is that I want to know that I've done good with my time here on earth, right? Then the infamous saying that I fought the good fight, that I kept the pace, and that really I made a difference. And so I love when people get results. If it's something that happened at an event, if it's something from a Facebook post, if it's something that you heard here, whatever it is, it's all about results. I really want to know that you have not just bounced around to another webinar or a hangout or another, email list, that you're actually doing something with your life. That's what's critically important to me, for you, right? And No Glass Ceiling will continue to grow. We are international. We may and we may not next year be in our neck of the woods over near London. We'll see.
We're pushing for that, obviously.
We've had just so many requests, right? People from truly around the globe, South Africa, Singapore, London, New Zealand, like just everywhere around the world. And the emails are heartwarming for me. And sometimes, listen, everybody, I get scared too. I mean, it's a tremendous responsibility to know that we're impacting people around the globe. And sometimes we don't exactly know what that it factor is, but I can promise you this, that No Glass Ceiling has been here for more than 15 years. We will continue to be here for more than 15 more years. And my hope and my prayer and my goal for you is that you do create a business and a life that you love, because life is so short and you don't know. You simply don't know. So no excuses, only results. Just go out and do it.
Love it. That's going to be my closing. No excuses, no result. No, I just lost it then. That's bad, isn't it? No excuses, get results. How's that? I do have a question though. One of the girls just messaged me saying, well, and have not done this before and have ideas of potential partners. Should I just go for it, or should I do a smaller event and test it first?
Okay, so the very first part cut out. So could you tell me what, I think I got the gist of it, but could you repeat it?
Sorry, yeah, I think my internet. Yeah, sorry, I think my internet connection is playing around. So, yeah, what if I want to create a big event? I've not done it before. I've got ideas of potential partners. Should I just go for it, or should I create a smaller?
Okay, so if you can hear me, have you ever done an event before? If you've never done an event, or you've only done really small events, then you want to start out with a smaller event, okay? To jump in and do an event with 100 people or 300 people, it's a lot. It's, there's expense to it, there's planning. So I don't know, Kylie, has she or he done an event before? Could you tell?
No, not done one before.
Okay, so if you've never done an event before, go out and here's how simple this is, right? I've done big events. I've done events with 1,000, 2,000 people in the room. Spoken at and hosted over 3,000 events in my lifetime. And sometimes the fantasy is better than the reality. So what that means is, my events are 125 people max now, because I really like to get to know everybody that's in the room and create big impact and results so that people walk out with a plan. It's not just another event. Like, you come with pre-training, we spend 3 days of immersion, and you walk out a totally different person, okay? That's my model. Now, if you've never done an event, just put, 5 or 10 people in the room and have a small event. Do it in a small hotel or a little boardroom or something like that, a church or, you know, someplace. One of my clients had never done an event. She invited 7 people, 6 people showed up, but 1 had to leave early. She had 5 people in her room. It was a 1-day event. She charged $200 for it. I mean, it was low ticket, but she was like scared. She's like, I'm just going to try it this way. 4 people did a strategy session with her. 2 people bought her $18,000 program the next day. So that 1-day event that she made $1,000 on in ticket sales, she made $36,000. All right. So, you know, you don't have to put all these people, and trust me, even with all the events I've done, and we are 60% sold out with no glass ceiling, and we're just starting to promote. It's not for the faint of heart. Don't jump out there and want to do, you know, 150 people in a room, because it's a lot. So just put, you know, 5 or 10 people in the room and go make, you know, $50,000, $100,000. Then think about it.
Awesome. That sounds perfect.
Easy, easy. No drama.
She's saying thanks. Perfect advice. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I will close because obviously we've kept your time. Like, I'm very, very precious of your time. So thank you so much for answering that last question and for sharing your inspiration of where you're going in the future and, you know, where we're going to see Kelly. And don't worry, we will persuade you to come to London. You have the fighting force of the women over here now wanting you to come to London. So look out.
Well, we were talking about March. So if we can gather enough folks, you know, and you can connect with Kylie on this, I would seriously take a hard look at coming over to London for you guys.
Awesome. I will have conversations with that as well, so I can make sure I'm involved. Don't you worry. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for the value. Like, that's one of the things I love doing about this show, is all about value. You know, it's about helping women entrepreneurs really step up their game, you know, create, like you said, the life that they want to live rather than just living someone else's life or playing mediocre. It's time to stop playing mediocre. We're amazing women, and let's just step up. That's it for me today. So I will see you guys next week with the next show. And thanks again, Kelly. You're just amazing. It's really, really awesome to have you on the show. And guys, don't forget the freebie. It'll be below this and be sent out with the email, with the replay link as well, because I know some of you guys will be watching the replay later. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers for now. Bye.
Bye-bye.